Well, we have Lane Hankins to give us more on the weather. Lane, what can we expect to see today?
You know, every time it seems I do the weather, I have to report on some bad weather, and that leads us into the big story for today, and it is the rain cometh. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute here, but if we look at what's going on right now, if we can get that coming up here, it's supposed to be cloudy for most of the day. Right now we got our temperatures floating around 60 degrees, that wind coming in from the north at about 5. If we take a look at our first map here, you can see that we got some warm temperatures right in central Illinois here right now, 50s and 60s, but we got some strong winds coming in that are going to wipe those out of here. So you can see coming from the north here, pushing down into us, anywhere between 20 and 30 miles an hour for those winds. They'll be reaching us a little bit later tonight. Along with those winds, it's blowing in a storm cell coming at us later tonight. And you can see a little bit of nastiness in there with the yellow and the red. Now, later tonight, like I said, we're going to be getting some of that rain. The temperature is also going to drop down to 46 degrees. When those winds are going to start whipping up right around 18 to 20 miles an hour out of the northwest. But we do have a little hope for our 5-day forecast. As you can see, there is some sun on Friday as well as Sunday, but for Saturday and the beginning of the week, it's going to be rainy, and those temperatures are going to be dropping a little bit, hanging around in the mid to upper 50s.
So, Lane, it just has to rain, doesn't it?
It just has to. 'Tis the season.
All right, well, thank you, Lane.
The Titans battled the Vikings on 2 different fields last night. ISU track is split but looking to dominate, and a surprising first-round exit for the reigning champs. Welcome back to sports. I'm Lane Hankins. U-High's baseball team suffered a tough loss to the Rochester Rockets last night. TV10's John Murray was there and has more on the story.
Gray, windy, and chilly conditions turned Duffy Bass Field into a pitcher's delight Wednesday evening as U-High Pioneers hosted the Rochester Rockets for Game 2 of a home-and-home series in as many days. With first pitch temperature only at 48 degrees, the advantage was in the hands of the pitchers. And while both offenses had chances early on, costly base running mistakes and some fielding errors, mixed with deep, steady pitching performances from both starters, all kept the game scoreless into the 7th. But for U-High, that's when the trouble started.
I thought we played really well up to that point, and just didn't make the plays at the end.
With the bases loaded, U-High's starter balked, giving Rochester a 1-0 lead. Then, with 2 outs and with speed on the bases, Rochester took advantage of a botched double steal, picking up an insurance run.
Your kids all competed really well. Our kids competed well. We just didn't do that.
Then, with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, the Rockets turned to reliever Alex Bruno to close it out. And that he did. The Pioneers, who stranded 8 total runners in scoring position throughout the night, dropped their 2nd game in a row, both coming at the hands of Rochester. Reporting for TV10 News, I'm John Murray.
U-High will look to get back in the win column this Friday as they take on Normal West at 7 p.m. The Illinois Wesleyan lacrosse team just keeps winning. The Titans blew out Augustana 22-6 last night to not only stretch their win streak to 9 straight games, but it also gives them at least a share of the CCIW regular season championship. Now, depending on how Elmhurst finishes in their last game this weekend, Wesleyan could still be the outright regular season conference champ. One thing is for sure, their current 13-1 record is good enough to ensure them being the #1 seed in the CCIW tournament next week. And going from the field to the diamond, the IWU baseball team is staying alive in the conference race. Last night, Augustana came down to Hornberger Field for a close one with the Titans. After rallying for 3 runs in the 9th to tie it up, the Vikings were hoping to get to extra innings, but Wesleyan had a different plan. Back-to-back doubles brought home the winning run for the Titans in the bottom of the 9th as they prevailed 6-5. While their .500 record may not look too impressive, they still have 6 games to improve upon that and maybe even bump themselves up in the conference rankings. And the ISU track team will be split up for the rest of the week, but they're hoping that won't stop them from crushing the competition. Tonight, part of the team will be traveling to Des Moines, Iowa for the Drake Relays. The rest of the team will be on their way to Louisville, Kentucky for the Lenny Lyles Clark Wood Invitational. The Redbirds have been dominating the competition and look to keep it up with one more invitational to go after this weekend before the Missouri Valley Championships. Now, first it was the Lightning, then the Penguins, then the Flames, and now the defending Stanley Cup champions. The top teams in the NHL playoffs are dropping left and right, but the Washington Capitals were not going down without a fight. The Caps took the Carolina Hurricanes into Game 7 and almost a full Game 8. The two teams played nearly 2 full overtime periods before a Justin Williams pass was deflected by Brock McGinn and into the goal off of Braden Holtby's skate. The Canes advance and will face the New York Islanders in the second round. And later tonight, lives will change forever as some of the country's best college football athletes will be selected in the 2019 NFL Draft. Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray is expected to be the #1 overall pick, but he may have some competition from Ohio State pass rusher Nick Bosa and Kentucky pass rusher Josh Allen. The Arizona Cardinals hold the first pick in this year's draft, and the big buzz is what do they do with their pick? Last year they traded up in the draft to select UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen. This year, will they go a similar route and take a quarterback #1 overall? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
What do you think is going to happen with the Arizona pick then?
Don't be surprised if they trade back and get multiple draft picks for that first overall pick.
That's interesting.
I think that'd be the smart move at least.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lane. Appreciate that.
All right, coming up next, we will get a final weather recap from Lane here.
Plus, fans are excited for Avengers Endgame tonight. Find out what they had to say when we come back.
And Lane, do you want to give us a quick weather recap of what to expect?
Make sure to bust out your umbrellas and rain jackets because it's going to be raining tonight and a little bit into the weekend as well as the beginning of next week.
All right, well, thank you. That's all we have for you today for TV10 News. You have a good night.